Hey folks, the SAVE lawsuit settlement with the Eighth Circuit, Court of Appeals injunction that stopped everything is actually finally had a proposed settlement. So we just saw this literally a couple minutes ago. I'm just now seeing it reacting. Basically, the long and short of it, it's not going to be terrifying to folks, at least on my first glance of reading it. I'll have to do another one of these here in the future after I've had some time to digest it. But basically, the proposed settlement says everything in the SAVE rule that the Biden administration came out with is kaput, except for the counting of forbearance and deferment. That's retained. And Department of Ed retains all authority over rewriting the IDR regulations however it wants to, basically. The timing is important, and the timing is very ambiguous in the settlement. So it says that the department will move everybody to available repayment plans that's in the SAVE forbearance. It says that borrowers retain the ability to choose their own repayment plan, and they encourage borrowers to use the loan simulator to calculate this. In the IDR court actions paper or page, it says that the department is aware that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act allowed for capped payments on IBR, and they haven't updated the systems yet to do that. So people might be getting incorrect rejections for IBR that would otherwise get approvals, and to come back and reapply as they're trying to fix that. But it is clear that they're aggressively going to be kicking everybody out of the SAVE forbearance very quickly. What does very quickly mean? My guess might be like sometime in January, because I feel like they still have to update the system for IBR allowing for capped payments if they're just going to mass move everybody into IBR who's currently in the SAVE forbearance. Will they move everybody from the SAVE forbearance into the lowest available payment plan? I don't necessarily think that they might do that. They might just pick a repayment plan like IBR and move everybody to it. And I think that perhaps a lot of these servicer emails that we've been seeing sporadically from certain people telling people to manually recertify their income could potentially be connected to this lawsuit settlement, or the fact that they knew that this was coming. I'm not sure about that. That's speculation. But I think that what's clear is if you're in the SAVE forbearance, you're going to get kicked out of it. When? I don't know, but it's going to be sooner than you would probably want to be kicked out of it. How soon? I don't know, but perhaps as early as January. The court still has to approve this settlement. That's going to mean at least a couple of weeks for them to review it. You've got the holidays. I don't necessarily think that the court might get everything approved, and they're not going to get a plan together before the holidays. So that at least gives everybody a little bit of breathing room, at least a couple of weeks to, if you're panicked over this, figure out what you want to do. I think that, most people are going to be selecting at the moment between IBR and pay-as-you-earn. With the timing of all this, I think, a lot of it is just very up in the air. We have not heard the Department of Ed say when they're going to force everybody into a repayment plan. Obviously, this is coming up on the tax filing season, where a lot of people who filed 2024 joint wish they filed separately if they get shoved into a repayment plan from this. Can you get your 2025 tax return in with a separate filing status if you need to be able to get an affordable payment? So there's going to be a lot of downstream impacts from this. They did say something in the order of 7 million borrowers, are affected by this. That's interesting, because it started out at 9 million that were in the SAVE plan, and so that's dropped to 7. That tells me that a ton of people are in the SAVE forbearance still. So that's kind of interesting to think about that. We will repost this full video on our Instagram Student Loan Planner page later, and probably TikTok too. But this is just, again, my quick initial reactions after reading this settlement for a couple of minutes. I'm going to have a lot more detailed talks about it later. But what is the TLDR? Yes, you're going to be forced to switch out of SAVE ASAP. Will you get enough time to get your 2025 tax returns filed if you need that? I don't know. To be honest, I would get out of SAVE now, because at least you would get a choice, and you would get to kind of apply on your own timeline instead of whatever Department of Ed does to you. So if you are on the SAVE forbearance, maybe you should go into the loan simulator. We also have our IBR calculator at studentloanplanner.com that you can use to calculate IBR, RAP, pay, etc., just to double check the loan simulator numbers to see if they're accurate. And, for folks that are, getting hit with this news at the very worst possible time. Obviously, with the holidays coming up, you're trying to have a good Christmas for your kids. You're trying to, not have a big payment restart if you're working to pay down credit card debt. I'm sorry for this. Ultimately, the good news, if there is any good news, is that there are still affordable payment plans out there, particularly if you're careful about how you file your taxes in 2025. If you are the only person in your family with debt, you really need to look at filing taxes separately. If you're eligible for things like pay, as a stopgap until getting on to something like RAP, the RAP plan, there's affordable ways that you can continue making payments that don't destroy your budget. But if anybody needs help with this, we're going to be continually posting content about this to help people, because that's why we exist, is to help student loan borrowers, particularly those who have the biggest balances, continue all the things that they want for their lives and not get stuck in the debt stress and anxiety. So we're going to post more about this in the future. One last recap. Some people are just joining us. Basically, the SAVE settlement was announced, the proposed settlement. The court has to finally issue an approval, and they probably will approve it because it's the Eighth Circuit. And the settlement is basically everything Biden did with SAVE is gone forever. Forbearance and deferment periods can potentially still count, and Department of Ed gets to rewrite the rules however they want. And everybody's going to get transitioned out of the SAVE plan promptly, but we don't know what promptly means. So that's what basically they're saying with the settlement. And if you're in the SAVE forbearance, yes, I would transition out of it to something else before they do it for you. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for following Student Loan Planner.